When we were kids, we used to play the board game Sorry. If you're not familiar with it, players move their three or four pieces around the board, attempting to get their pieces home before any other player. The game's name comes from the many ways in which a player can negate the process or the progress of another while issuing an apologetic sorry, but of course, you're not really sorry. The other day, I read an interesting, although not earth shaking, fact that said women apologize on average 5.2 times a day, men 3.6 times. And I started thinking about the way we apologize when we've done something that wasn't quite right. When you apologize, according to the dictionary, you offer an apology or excuse for some fault, insult, failure, or injury. There are certain things that should be included in an apology for it to be acceptable and accepted. Above all, it should be sincere. A sincere and humble apology doesn't attempt to justify the wrongdoing. Instead, it shows that you recognize your hurtful actions, you accept responsibility for them, and you're willing to change so that it won't happen again. Sometimes we actually try to blame the other person for what we did that made it necessary for us to apologize. What? Often we're all too eager to point out that someone provoked us into acting a certain way. And by saying, I wouldn't have done this if you hadn't done that first, it sends a message that I'm not taking responsibility for my actions. In other words, blaming the other person pretty much negates the apology. Also, there are certain words that should never be included in an apology. Have you ever had someone tell you they're sorry like this? I'm sorry if I hurt your feelings. Like it's your fault that your feelings got hurt. Another word to be avoided in an apology is but. It's just a way of excusing your action, as in, I'm sorry I'm late, but I got here as soon as I could. Wouldn't you be a little surprised to hear that same excuse with a little more honesty, like, sorry I'm late, but I got here as soon as I wanted to? Lots of times, parents will tell the child who made a sibling cry to apologize, to say that he or she is sorry. It sounds something like this. Sorry. I'm sure the obliged apology made everything better. Not. An apology can't be forced, especially if it's to be at least perceived as being sincere. Some of the words we use to express that we regret what happened are these. Oops, or uh-oh, is just like recognizing that something bad happened, but it was simply a sad accident, nothing more, not my fault. My bad. I think this popular and very informal way of getting yourself off the hook actually started with some TV show. To keep things light, my bad works wonders. You admit it, it's done, let's move on, not a big deal. And here's one more. No offense, watch out for this because it's usually accompanied by a statement that could be considered insulting but supposedly is not meant to be. And if you just can't find the right words or don't want to come face to face with the person you've offended, you can always fire off a few choice emoji on your cell phone. There are for sure a lot to choose from. There's the sad face, the teardrop, the praying hands, tears pouring out of the eyes. There's even a bouquet of flowers. So all of these things work when a simple sorry is all it takes to get back on an even keel. I think these are the things that 5.2 women and 3.6 men apologize for each day. All too often we need to say we're sorry because of stupid, mean things we say without thinking. When I was growing up, there was a plaque on our kitchen wall for many years. I learned the little poem by heart and remember it to this day. They're truly words to live by. Be careful of the words you say. Keep them nice and sweet. You never know from day to day which ones you'll have to eat.